Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 5 of the Noob's Guide to Project Zomboid Build 42. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Our first week has now passed, the helicopter has been and gone, and we're now left with the prospect of moving into our forever home. At least, the forever home in Rosewood, that is. So in today's episode, I'd like to focus on what setting up your main base looks like, including bringing power and water for the eventual utility shutoffs, pairing our storage system, and also developing some space for animals for when we eventually come across them. So we're back in the yard that we were clearing out last episode, and now I've still got some things I want to put in the tool shed to clear my way out, so I'll carry on doing that. Super. So let's first of all start addressing water. The water still is on for us and can go out any time between now and the next 3 weeks. But we'll arrange this first. So I want to take a truck, and then we'll also move the books into the library as well, which I'll do a bit of organization later. But for right now, everyone can just hang out in there. So the first thing we'll set up is water. Now to do this, we need stairs. There's 3 stair recipes, but at level 3 carpentry, we'll gain access to the log stairs themselves. Now before we start grinding carpentry, we're going to want the skill boost for this, since we're only just over halfway through level 3. So that's how we'll start the day for setting up our water collector. We'll head back to the base, where we should have carpentry volume 2. And make sure, yep. Oh, someone was following us then. So grab carpentry volume 2. We can probably just climb over here, to be honest. Don't always have to walk around. Yeah, so before I start the grind here for getting the water collector set up, I absolutely want the XP boost. So I'm going to spend probably the rest of today, especially with the slow reader trait, sat on the bed reading carpentry 2. I mentioned before, the XP buffs that you get from reading these books significantly shorten your grinds down, with volume 5 giving like a 16 times XP boost. So they're worth reading. Let's get through carpentry volume 2 pretty much all of today. Again, if you didn't pick the slow reader trait like I did, then you'll get through it a little bit quicker, but for me, I can just fast forward time. Sweet. We also managed to catch an episode of Life and Living through the wall there as well. So we'll take that. But Carpentry Volume 2 completely read. That is now going to give us a 5 times multiplier to every carpentry drop. So it's a little late to go outside now at 20 to 8. So instead I'm going to start dismantling pretty much everything wooden in the house. Except the furniture that you want to use, obviously, so make sure you don't dismantle every bed because we have to sleep on a bed. But in the option here, under our actions menu, we can choose disassemble. Then he'll prepare his tools and start doing that. You can only disassemble furniture when there's nothing in them. So empty it onto the floor and we'll put everything in a bin that we're not going to use. Again, it's usually the option, move to floor on the bottom. I'm pretty sure actually that alarm clock, yes, it does have an alarm set. I've been hearing this go off for the last few days. So let's make sure we turn that off. But yeah, pretty much everything wooden, the bookshelves, the desks, just dismantle it all. Alongside the electrical items, which we don't have the electrical book fully read yet, but I'm still going to start dismantling them. Also taking a break to eat some cereal here. And just top up the water. In terms of being hungry while you're kind of doing this major base admin, don't mind starving yourself, especially if you're already gaining weight, like Ron Swanson's weight is going up, which the arrow indicates next to the weight number. Really depends how low weight you are, as opposed to how long you can stay hungry for. I'm not going to delete the piano, I think that looks quite nice there. But it's coming up to night time now. This room is actually not secure because the window is broke, but we shouldn't get any zombies coming through that. Famous last words, I'm sure. But if you're nervous, go sleep in the safe house on the other side there. But I'll be fine sleeping here. Keep on top of our sleep schedule. And welcome back to the morning, everyone. So we dismantled most of the wooden furniture in the house. There's still some bits to do out here. But as the day is young, we will carpe diem, so to speak. So if you have an axe, if you went to the Rosewood fire station, you probably have quite a few fire axes. You can just cut down the trees yourself, and that's absolutely normally the way you would achieve them. But given our location in Rosewood, we're very close to a log yard, so I can save myself the stamina and go and get some logs from there. So that's what we'll do. It's only around the corner. So if you're not near the Rosewood log yard, there is also one in Mordra. But if you've got an axe, just cut your own trees down. I'm just going to loot some pre-cut logs that are literally around the corner from my base in this particular instance. So here is the Rosewood log yard, just by the fire station here. Let's get out and open the fence here, or the gate rather. So we got a few friends waiting inside for us, and I'll show you a really nice tip today for long hauling, especially heavy loot. There's a raccoon. Fantastic. Turn off the lights, and then let's get rid of these guys inside. Okay, I think that's most of them. So we've got a box truck here. Which does actually have some gas inside it. I mean, I'm not going to say no to that. Yes, please. I'll take pretty much everything in that, really. And this one as well. No, that one's not as good. But what we want to do is we want to come over here. Open the gate. And then we'll grab our main car. And then like we did bringing the car back from the gas station the other day, we're also going to want to tow this big box truck. So line it up. Come back and hold V. Hit attach. There we go. This might be a slow tow, given how heavy the vehicles are, but tolerable at least. And then we want to bring this in, and essentially just line up both of the trunks here. Now in all of these log piles, and these are actually containers, so you'll see them here. They are filled with logs. Now logs weigh a ton, you can only hold about 4 at a time. And then just come and drop them in the boot of your car. It's a slow process. Again, you don't need to do this as part of the guide. I'm just doing it because I'm near this particular point of interest. But usually in Zomboid, if you're wanting logs, you will just cut them yourself. So I'm just going to do this until both cars are full. Sweet. So that leaves us with 16 logs in the back truck and 13 logs in the other one. That's wonderful. So let's bring these back to base now. So this brings us back home. So now we need to identify where we're going to put the rain collectors. And they work in a 3x3 grid above your sinks. I need to actually open this front door so I can get into it. So in terms of which sink I want to plumb in, and this one's going to be more difficult because it's in the middle of the building, but we could absolutely do this kitchen sink and this bathroom sink as our main source of water. Possibly this one as well. It's on the back of the building. There's something on TV. I'm pretty sure we're moving past the days that Life and Living is actually broadcasting now. Yeah, that's a cooking show, isn't it? We already have level 3 cooking, so we won't get any XP from that. That's okay. Hello, zombie. Don't really want zombies near the front door, so let's kill her a little bit further away. Which is actually a good point. So to build the stairs, we also need to start tearing sheets. Around all the zombies on the floor, I want to start doing the rip clothing command. This particular stair recipe does require rags. How many does that give us? Yeah, 12, that'll be fine. There is a zombie there, I'll deal with him later. So we can build the log stairs now, because we're within vicinity. So how do we want to do this actually? So that sink is 2 tiles in. I think I'll do this bathroom sink first. So I'll show you how to do that. So let's come to build. Now these main structures can't be demolished without a sledgehammer, so you want to be careful where you're actually placing them. Okay, I think I'm going to put that stair there. I can't place them anymore because I've now walked away from the logs, so the game thinks I don't have the resource. But I'm going to build that first set of stairs there. Super. That gives us 50 carpentry XP. So when you build a set of stairs, it will spawn with a single tile of flooring next to it. Now, walking on roofs, I've not found any rhyme or reason as to which roofs are solid and which are hollow. You will fall through them, so be very careful of walking on them, okay? If you do know the rhyme or reason as to why some roofs are hollow and others are solid, let me know down in the comments. But I want to build some more floor out, so let's grab all these planks that we just got from dismantling this house. Grab the nails as well, because they'll get used. These are likely the ones following us back from that car. Yeah, there's another one over there as well. We'll deal with him in a second. But let's get another box of nails from the tool shed. Once you start your carpentry grinds, this is where you'll really start chewing through all the resources you've been acquiring over the last few days. Sweet. So let's do building. We want to build a floor. Super simple recipe. 1 plank, 1 nail, and a hammer. Now I'm going to place them there. And then the sink is on. What tile is it in the bathroom? Just have a little look here. So it's the one right up against the wall, basically. So now we can pick up the rain collectors, which we will need to empty because it has rained. You can't pick them up while they have water in them. There we go. Pick up that rain collector. Bring it upstairs. Again, you can make your own rain collectors at this point using the recipe if you haven't found them already. And then we'll do install furniture. I'm going to put that here. So he will walk on this roof. That was incredibly dangerous what I just did there, actually. So be careful of that. If you fall whilst you're over encumbered, it's pretty much certain death. So if you think you might fall, make sure you don't have the way down perk here. Okay, so let's also empty this next barrel. And then we want to pick up super stuff. So now we've got 2 large rain collector barrels. And that can be plugged in. So again, it works in a 3x3 square above the sink. So if the sink is here, I can have rain collectors there, 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 and there, okay? In this 3x3 grid above the sink. So one sink can have 9 rain collectors plugged into it, all right? Now, we don't need to plumb it in yet because the water, as far as I'm aware, is still on. But once it is, we'll come back here with a pipe wrench and plug them in. And then we essentially have infinite water. We can also do the same thing with this sink, with that sink, with the other one. So water's really not a huge problem in the game. But something you'll want to prepare anyway. I'm also going to take the logs out of these cars. Just leave them on the floor for right now. We will eventually use them for building up our animal enclosure today. And then likewise with things like planks and nails, I'm just going to stick them on the floor because they're all going to get used at some point. Let's also eat the last of our pizza, which is a few days old now, but nothing's better than cold pizza, is it? And we'll clear out these muppets on the edge of the base as well. Sweet, so water is secured. Now you remember at the start of the guide, that was one of our early game priorities of goals to work toward. Water's now sorted. We just want it to rain, obviously. We'll also take our starter generator. We will not be able to climb the fence with this in our hands, so we'll walk around. So in terms of generator placement, I mentioned before, but it works in a 20 tile radius every direction of the generator. Now when the power does go out, you also want to make sure that you're not powering other homes nearby that you're obviously not living in, because that's a waste of fuel. And obviously not inside. Again, I've mentioned that before as well. Do not place your generators inside. You will die of monoxide poisoning. I think I put mine here, just on the corner. It should work. Drop the generator. There is a bush in the way. So we'll remove that. And then we can actually connect this now, because we know how to use generators, of course, thanks to the magazine. That's connected. We will want to add fuel to it. Now, just the look of the drawer, this van happened to have a 4 gas tank in it. So I'll take that. And then generator, add fuel, exactly like we did at the gas station. Super. The home base is now powered with the 4 generators worth of fuel. When the power eventually shuts off, we are absolutely fine in terms of keeping all the frozen food and the chilled food from going rotten as the power goes out. Sweet, so 2 utilities secured, water done, power done, our forever home's coming along here. I mean, in hindsight, it actually would have been good for me to drop these logs over here, and because we'll start working on the next element of our forever home now, which is going to be the animal spaces, which I think, given the shape of this base, is pretty much near perfect for me to build them over here. So let's get rid of this doghouse, which has something in it, a water dish, and then delete it. So now what I want to do is build the fence recipe, which will change in quality based on your carpentry level. Right now we can only build basic, then I think it goes to like journeyman and then craftsman or something like that. But you will eventually be able to build the fences that look like those ones over there at the highest level. So with our planks here, let's come back to our pile of logs, hit saw log, let's do maximum, and then saw every single log here down into a plank. Super, so we are absolutely mega overloaded. And something you want to be doing within relative safety here. You want to make sure your immediate vicinity is clear, which is why we spent that first whole week really just doing that. So then let's come to crafting. We're going to go to fencing and then build. And then really the cows and the sheep take up the most amount of room. But we'll be starting with chickens, I think. So let's isolate chickens to this back end over here. So we'll go here. So you'll see the fence he builds. It looks terrible. It will get better with carpentry levels. There you go. That's carpentry 4. Does that actually mean we want the next book already now? Yes, it does. I might actually break to read carpentry 3. Probably advise you to do it as well if you found it by this point. And run out of planks, so you run back to your pile. And then just carry on building your fencing. You will seriously exhaust and overload yourself when you're doing this much building. But don't worry about it. We're pretty safe here. So I think I'll bring that up to there. I think we've also got some more logs that we didn't saw as well. So let's do those. We'll also want to build a gate into the pen as well. So I'm going to leave a hole. And then in terms of this pen, this whole area is going to be too big for chickens. So I might divide it into 2. That way I can have rabbits in here as well one day if we come across them. And thankfully this pre-fenced base is also saving us quite a few fences as well, because you don't have to do one of the sides. And these sprites on the ground as well are actually logs, so we can actually remove that. And then saw it. It's free lumber. Okay, I'm going to leave another hole for a gate. So now we have our animal stocks prepared. Let's come ahead and grab some doorknobs. There's no destroyed doors over here, but I did pick up some in the old base. Which, to talk about this, I think eventually I'm going to open up this whole compound. So basically remove a little bit of this fence and then build fences this way across the street. So really open it up into a bit of a super base, might be a lot of fun. Let's come into our materials. Yeah, door knobs and hinges. Although we actually need some more hinges. We can dismantle doors for that, which it looks like we'll need to do. Over here, grab those other planks. And then we just want to search for gate, and we can build a fence gate with these materials. Looks like we'll need another hinge, and this just works exactly like a door. Okay. You don't have to build the gate, you can just climb over. But yeah, it'll work either way. So we'll come to the house next door. Still need to bring this fire truck back as well. If we right click the door and then disassemble, we will not get the materials again. It's not a guaranteed drop. It is dependent on your carpentry skill. But just keep dismantling doors. You'll get them. There we go. There's a couple of hinges, and I'll take the other doorknobs as well, since they'll get used eventually. We'll want them for double gates across the road at some point, but we won't build them today. Right, we need a few more planks. We should be able to gather them from the destroyed stuff on the inside of the house. And then we can build the last gate. So with this larger space here, I probably plan to keep cows and sheep in here. But to bring them back safely, we really want an animal trailer, which can be quite rare. I haven't found a ton of them. You can lead them back with rope, but you're obviously walking at that point and exposing yourself to attack. But chickens and or bunnies will be our first livestock priority. We're getting to be ridiculously tired now before even 5 o'clock. So I'll call this day here. Just going to nip back home. Which I tell you what, I might as well start moving some of the skill books over here as well now. So I'll grab them all. Do we have carpentry 3? Oh, yes we do. What a godsend. Perfect. Yeah, let's grab all these books. Same from the bookshelf as well. And just so we can start reading at the forever home, rather than this little outpost here. Now in terms of organising your library, I prefer to do it just alphabetically. But you can also do it by skill as well. So, you know, if you want all the combat skills in one area, then you can. So this first bookshelf, let's do everything from A up to F. And then just drag them by that, sort them by alphabetical order. Anything on the floor, that's also A to F. You want to drag up that one as well. And everything from G, say to P, can go in the next shelf. Same with the ones on the floor. And everything that is below the letter P will go in here. So the welding, tailoring, tracking, trapping, etc. So now if we need a book, we know exactly where it is. I want to read Carpentry 3 today. Actually wouldn't mind a chair in the library. I probably should have saved one of them. Can we pick these up without a skill check? No, we can't. They do have a 45% chance of breaking, which it did. And it did, of course. So I would like to find myself a nice chair. It's just going to have to be this cute white wooden one. It's purely aesthetic. I think Ron Swanson deserves a nice little seat. So this will essentially be the study, because we can also play our VHS tapes on this TV in here as well. Let's also close our curtains. And we'll have a quick bite to eat. Got some canned chili. Let's just eat that. You can heat it up if you want, but honestly, you can eat it cold. It's not a problem. Just gives slightly more happiness buffs if you're eating hot food. Then carpentry level 3. We won't get this read today, it's a little bit too late. But again, keep on top of your sleep schedule. I want to be in bed before 10, especially when I'm ridiculously tired. Sweet, there's 10 PM. Let's not stay up all night. We'll call it a day there. Super, up by 9 AM. Very happy with that. Okay, so I've just brought the cars over to a forest in the morning, because we want some more logs here. So as we start cutting them down, you want to drag them into your trunk. Again, you don't need to bring the cars, you can just walk them back and 2 every time, but a little bit more efficient to do it this way. And then drag them into the trunk. Pretty much exactly like we were doing at the log yard at the start of the episode. So when you come in to do wood cutting, it can make a lot of noise. So once you've found your chosen forestry spot, just shout. And then just give it a couple of seconds. Because, you know, there could be 10 of them in this forest here that I can't see. So it's always worth checking. So right click, start cutting down your trees. The bigger trees themselves obviously give a lot more logs. So I tend to go for those really. So cutting will really tire and exhaust your character. Which is why you want to make sure you're in as safe an area as can be for doing it. You don't want to be doing this in a park in the middle of town, for example. Sweet, that should do it for right now. Let's get back in the car and drive home. The battery is also about to die on this blue van as well. So I'll talk about some mechanics grinding today for the first time, because we got those essentially work cars in the driveway. So we'll cover their purpose today. So same deal as last time. Let's come to the boot. We want to hit saw log, hit max, and let your character saw through them all. And I'm going to carry on building out my chicken area. So there is also a building called the chicken coop, or the chicken hutch, which is where the chickens will live. Now, they can die in here if you don't keep it clean. So it's something you really want to keep on top of. You'll want bath towels and water to just clean it. Really easy resources to find. But they'll come in here, and it also protects them from the animal meta event, which isn't turned on by default. So it's essentially simulating the presence of foxes and things like that. But it's not turned on, so you don't need to close the hutch door at night. Only if you have it turned on in the sandbox settings. Sweet, so open that. We also want to build 2 troughs. Chickens will be fine with the small one, but I'll do the large one. I'll have one there. And I'm pretty sure I got some grass cuttings, didn't I? Yeah, so the elite grass cuttings. And we'll put that in the trough itself. And then the other trough is going to hold water, which will fill of its own accord once it rains, exactly like the rain collectors do. Let's come in here. Large wooden feeding trough. I'll have that there. Super. Chickens themselves can also sustain off the grass on the floor. But I like to just make sure they're both prepped. And again, the rabbits don't need a hutch, surprisingly. So I'm just going to build their feeding troughs as well. We've got some long grass here. I'll take this out. And you can do this with a scythe as well for a much larger area. And same thing again, we'll have one trough here. I need a few more planks. So you can see once you start to build up your base, exactly how much plank and nail resource you're going to start burning through. 43 planks on the floor here from that run. See, there we go. That's bad news. Let's not be over encumbered to fight this guy. He will have followed the noise of the car. There you go. I see a few more have all come to the sound of the car there. Let's go deal with them. I don't want them sneaking up on me. Let's also drink some apple juice as well on the way over there. And I am hungry at the minute, but Ron Swanson's weight is still going up, so I'm happy to let him starve for a little bit. I'm fairly sure I saw two. Where did the other one go? See if we can shout him out. Maybe my eyes were playing tricks on me. I could have sworn there was two down here. There he is, see? I knew it. Always trust your gut. That is an example of why you want to shout before you start woodcutting, right? So let's get back to our building. Let's get this next trough up for hopefully someday potential rabbits. But I suppose I can also keep sheep in here as well. It's really the cows you want to save the big enclosures for. They're not happy in small spaces as you would expect. Sweet, so that's perfect. I think I'm happy to leave a little bit of the foliage and the forest in here. I think it might be quite immersive for the rabbits, right? That end up living in there. And then those grass cuttings that we got. Again, same thing with the chickens. Let's put them in. Like, once it's full enough, you will eventually see it fill with like a hay sort of texture. But that'll just come as it fills up. Oh look, there's another one there as well. Oh, a survivor zombie. Wonderful, everyone. Cool. What a perfect thing that was. So with our survivor zombies, they are essentially simulating the presence of other... Where are you going? Over here. Come this way. Yeah, essentially simulating the presence of other survivor Zeds in the world. They can have some really good loot on them. So I'm going to let him come over to me. Looks like he's also got a better backpack for us as well. Hiking backpack. Yeah, 26. So let's wear this. That's a 3 increase over our duffel bag. Yeah. Duffel bag on the floor. Again, don't forget to take it all out. We want that stuff. And then I will keep the duffel bags. You can bring them with you on loot runs to load them up, so you've got more carry capacity. But what I like to do with them is turn them into, like, expedition bags. So if I'm going on a long journey, I can grab a duffel bag that's full of basic tools, so I can survive far away from my main base. So even if you come across them while you're still looting, still pick them up. Just start a collection of other bags. But the hiking backpack here is the second best, I think. And the ultimate backpack being the military one with a 28 carry capacity. So that's a really wonderful find. He also has a cheap sleeping bag. I'm not going to really use that. Useful if you're sleeping out in the wilds where there's no beds. And I think while we've got the wood supply, I am also going to build out the eventual cow area here. Now, cows, if they're not given enough space or if they're stressed, they will burst your fences down. But I'll talk about how you can calm the cows once we find them. Car is in the way, is it? Yeah, I don't actually have the key for this, so I'm going to have to tow it. I don't even need to tow it, really. I'll just nudge it back with the back of this car. And the same will probably want to happen with this one as well. I plan to have this kind of open garage area as a little bit of a mechanics shop. I'm going to save another spot there for a gate. And then I'll leave a little alleyway between all of my animal enclosures. Right, we're also out of nails, so I'll grab some more. That's us out of planks, but we do have some trees on the property further here. Same process, but this time we're in the base, so we can just saw them on site. And I'll also block this side of the house off with those planks as well. So that leaves us with a mostly enclosed space. There is obviously a door here, but I'll likely turn this into a window or just block it off so the cows don't obviously come into the house, which would be bad news bears. Also going to remove the glass just in case I accidentally climb through it. And then we just need a couple more door hinges for the front of the pen, but that'll be easily found. No problem at all. But we're starting to get a little hungry now, so let's grab something to eat from the fridge. I do actually have some stale chicken legs there. Yeah, I think I'll run back and grab my kitchen equipment so I can start to cook some of that food before it goes stale, because I'd rather use it than just let it waste. In terms of your food hierarchy, it's kind of obvious, but you want to eat your fresh stuff first. So yeah, I'll take all of this. All of these canned goods can come back to the main house now. Same with this stuff too. And I might be able to get that in the bag actually. Have a little look. Yep, and the freezer stuff as well. So we can envision that little starter hut we put together in the first 7 days essentially just being like another outbuilding for storage at some point, as our horde of loot eventually begins to grow. But let's put all our food away here. Of course, frozen stuff into the freezer. And then I prefer to keep all the cooking utensils, so the pans, pots, etc. In their own cupboard. Wait, so let's take out a frying pan and do auto cook. 27 nearby available ingredients. Look at that. A stir fry with habanero, lime and basil with steak, salmon and bacon. What a meal. Jeepers. Turn it on and get it cooked. And then this is super filling, so we'll just eat a quarter of this. Actually didn't make a dent. Let's do half. 2 quarters. Perfect. We are very tired. It's a little early for bedtime, so we'll make a further dent into carpentry level 3. And then we'll wake up in the morning again in bed before 10, so the days stay a sensible length while we've got a lot of work to do. So welcome back to another morning. We're going to finish off the cow pen first thing, so we'll grab these planks down here. And we've also got another log to saw over here as well. And then the cows will want the same thing, feeding troughs over here. You can also build a shelter for the cows, which will increase their happiness. But it isn't an essential part of keeping them. Oh, look at that. How did you get in? My word, that's so dangerous. Okay, that is not fun, everyone. Let's get inside. Let's get him back out. Where did you come in? Was he in the house while I was sleeping? He very well could have been. No, please don't break the window. Just come out. How did you get in? Oh, I left the door open. There we go. He must have come in through here. Let's just do a shout, make sure there's no one else lingering. So that was a super dangerous moment. It's a good job he came through that other door, you know? Yeah, we could have very easily lost the run there. So, be very careful. You know, there's not a breach in this fence, is there? They must be coming in through the front gate, which I am keeping open, because if they will destroy that fence gate, which I'd rather than not. And we need quite a high welding skill to repair it. But again, from all our furniture dismantling, there's plenty of planks around the base. So 2 troughs, and then I just want to remove some grass and put that in. That way it won't start filling with water if there's already food in there. Then leave one empty so it can fill with water. Wonderful. So beside the fence gate, which we'll build once we come across a couple more door hinges, again, which aren't overly rare. We just need to do a little bit of inventory admin as well. Got some random crap on us that we don't really need. Super. So let's go find these hinges. Again, they shouldn't be too hard to come across. We'll come down to the houses over here, which I actually think I missed a second floor from one of these houses, didn't I? I think it was this one over here. And which actually has all its doors destroyed, so we're probably likely to find hinges over here pretty easily. Door knobs, so it's the hinges that we want. Yep, there we go. There's 2 of them. Perfect. Yes, I didn't check upstairs in this house. Let's see if we missed anything up here. Another bath towel. I'll take that for the chicken coop. I have found some military clothing here, which I quite like. I'll take that stuff. So this is another thing I haven't mentioned yet. When you come to find a brochure, if you inspect it, there's an icon at the bottom to add this to your map, and it will reveal, in this case, the Louisville State University. So the brochures work the same as those larger town maps. It will reveal the fog of war, if you like, on your actual map. So if you come across them, just give them a little read. Got the rest of these door hinges here as well. There's also a propane tank in that barbecue as well, which we're going to want for the eventual grind. Take that. Yeah, the eventual welding grind that'll be useful for. There's also a really nice metal barrel there. It's filled with water. And I think we've got more storage shelves in this garage, haven't we? Yeah, I'm going to want to come back for those at some point. But let's get our cow pen finished up. I am currently storing my propane just out the front of the garage, keeping it all in one spot so I know how much we have. And then I need one more plank here, which is slightly irritating. I'll just cut down this tree over here. Super. So that is the cows sorted. What I like to do is leave some hinges, planks, nails, and doorknobs within reaching distance of the pen, because if they ever break it down, you're going to want those resources to hand pretty quickly, just to help re-secure your animal area. But there we go. So that took, what, 2.5, 3.5 days just to set up all this wood structure. Again, you can make your fences look better with higher carpentry, and I might rebuild them at some point, but for at least it's giving us functional animal space, so when we do come across chickens, we can bring them straight home and start eating eggs. The primary reason you want the animals is chickens, sheep, and cows for eggs, obviously meat, and primarily milk, which can be turned into butter, which is a super high calorie food and will stop you from losing weight pretty much permanently once you've got butter set up. So in our process of moving into our forever home, animals is now sorted, power is sorted, and water storage is all available. Last thing I want to look at in this episode is setting up a bit of an agriculture space. So I'm going to get rid of these picnic tables here. Super, so we'll get some more resources from that. So with the agriculture stuff, when we come in to look at the sandbox settings, I think it's under nature. There's an option here for plant growing seasons. Now, I've mentioned this before in the guide. Crops aren't really viable for a long-term food solution with the plant growing seasons mechanic on. A lot of them can't be planted until the spring, and since we spawn in the summer, you essentially have to survive 9 months before you'll even start to see any sort of payoff from the majority of the crops. Some of them can be planted in summer and winter, but maybe not the ones you want. So for the purposes of this guide, and indeed my own personal experience, I'm going to disable plant growing seasons in the nature section of the sandbox settings. Apply changes. Again, you do need to load in and out of your save for those changes to come into effect. Something I like to do. Again, don't have to if you don't want to, but personal choice. Sweet. So now to set up the area over here, I'm going to come and grab my gardening tools, which we gave their own little space over here. Yes, there we go. And I'm also going to pick up 2 of these crates as well. Because we're not using them all, are we? Yeah, a lot of this stuff is going to come over to the base, to be honest. So I'm just going to move it to floor. Because that's going to go in the garage. Okay, I'm going to come back for that stuff as we set up our storage area. But we're just going to take these crates for garden storage. I'll take a trowel. And all this stuff might fit in the backpack. Get this back to the base. Be wary of your surroundings if you're going to extreme overload. I didn't want to climb that, but I'm very surprised he did. I just meant to open the gate. No problem. So let's install our garden furniture. Which is just going to be these crates in a minute. And I'm going to stack them up against the door here. In the bottom right one, I'm going to keep anything seed related. And then in the other one next to it, I'm going to keep all of the gardening tools. So shovels, scythes, garden hose, whatever else you want, okay? And I've got some other things in my inventory here I want to put away. In terms of actual base organization, what I prefer to do is just, as you would in real life, keep your clothes in the wardrobe in the bedroom. I keep a sewing kit with them as well, because I'll likely practice tailoring here. And then anything material, of course, will be in the outside shed. Fishing stuff, I'm probably keeping the outside shed as well, to be honest. You can see we're also suffering with some muscle strain now as well after all this work we've been doing. Again, which might be more or less severe depending on what fitness level you choose, and strength levels too. Sweet. So let's grab ourselves a gardening trowel. And in terms of how I like to lay out my crops, you want to come to dig a furrow. You can do this with your hands, but there's a risk you'll injure yourself. So I guess I'll have it over here, and I'll start my crop rows, let's say from there. And I prefer to do 5 of them. Sweet. And then leave a tile space in between. Because disease is a mechanic in Zomboid, and the further they are away from each other, it's less likely to spread. And then I also want to remove all this long grass from here as well. Sweet, and then we'll do... I guess I'll keep it coming this way. If a zombie walks over your crops, or if you sprint over them, it will destroy them. So be careful as to what you're doing with them. You know, if you've got a crop that's very nearly coming to fruition and a zombie walks over it, it's gone and you have to start all over again. So be careful with it. So I also like, I probably won't finish this episode because it's absolutely not really important. But I do like to have some wooden flooring in between the crop rows. It's completely aesthetic. There's no functionality to this whatsoever. But you can do it if you like the look of it. So I'll just do one row here so you can see the little visual it gives you. So just floors in between. I actually might have enough planks to do it here. Flooring's only one, isn't it? So you get something that looks like that as your garden grows, essentially. We do have actually more trees in the base. I don't really want to cut this big one down. I kind of like it. I'm just going to saw these up again. Let's move into another carpentry montage here. There's another carpentry level. There's also another tall tree over in the corner here as well. Now, trees, grasses, and bushes will return via the world erosion mechanic, which is exactly what it means. It's just the, nature is reclaiming the apocalyptic world. So they will come back, but they're extremely slow grow times, so it's not going to be an instantaneous reappearance. But I think I've got the wood here to completely envelop my crop rows, so I'm going to do that. Sweet, so Ron Swanson's starting to get quite uncomfortable now, so I'm going to call it a day there, just in case I get ambushed. And keep on top of him. Again, we'll come and top our water bottle up. Right, we still have water. I left the oven on. That's so dangerous, everyone. Do not forget to turn your oven off, my word. That's so dangerous. Especially if you're leaving things in the oven, it can catch fire. Be very careful with that. And then we've got some grass cuttings here. There you go. You can see this one started to fill with hay now. But we'll bring another day to a close. I'm going to carry on reading carpentry, which how are we even doing for carpentry now? Yeah, we've still got another level to go on this skill volume. So I'll do that as well. And make sure I actually secure the building this time. A couple of close calls this episode, actually. Just goes to show how fragile your Zomboid runs can actually be. But take a rest. Read up until about 10 PM. Be a little bit past 10 PM, but that's fine. Let's go to bed. Good morning, people. Welcome back to another morning. Going to start the day with more continued base work. Just a few more planks to finish. Again, this bit of the grind, as I said, it isn't necessary. This is purely visual. But I can't help myself by boxing them in. Take down another tree outside here. So that's very nice. I'm going to drop the nails here. We also have some worms from digging, which are good fishing bait. And I'd also like a composter here. Now, we've found a few composters around the town already. But they're really easy to make. They're only a couple of planks and nails. Again, without stating the obvious, compost is going to help your crops grow quicker. Let's also empty this rain collector. I'd like to pick it up. We're going to want a rain collector by the farms for watering them, obviously. I'll take the watering can, and I'd also like this table, which doesn't require a skill check. And we can hopefully get this in one go. Get it into the bag, there we go. And then we can install the table. I'm going to put that, let's say, here. And then a rain collector. Now, I want more rain collectors for here, as many as you can really. I mentioned a few episodes ago, there's no such thing really as too much stored water. Now let's also place the watering can out in the open so it will fill with rain. And then that should pretty much be it really for my beginner starter area here. So now we'll take all the crap materials that we left on the floor and start filtering these, including the ones in the house as well, just so we can start to clear them up a little bit. And then we'll finish off our base organization by setting up a mechanics and main storage area here. But everything that fell on the floor, let's pick all this up. Sweet, and let's stop for some lunch here. We got the frying pan. Let's just make another stir fry. I've also got a bunch of sacks over here as well, which I think are housing wheat. Yeah, there's wheat sheaves in them. I keep them near the farming area. I don't tend to really grow wheat that much, but you can obviously make your own bread with it and stuff if you're that into it. We actually have a vehicle key for this van as well. That's really handy. Although no fuel, which is a bit annoying. That's fine though. I will absolutely take the key. And then the composters themselves I'll put on the right side over here. Now anything organic material, any food that rots, come and dump them in here. And then with some worms, it will turn into your compost setup for you. Have as many as you like. Again, I've only got the resources for one right now. There's plenty of logs around, but that'll be okay. Super. So farming area set up, should you wish to get into your farming. Tend to find 5 rows of crops is enough for just a single player. You probably want more if you're setting up a multiplayer space. And then over here, we had all our car mechanics stuff. So let's take all of this. And do we have room to pick these up? No, too heavy for inventory. That's okay. We'll come back for them. And I'll probably put my mechanics stuff over here, where this little thing is. So again, just stick it all on the floor for right now. That'll also place the bucket down as well. We can catch more water. Actually, no, with this bucket, I'm going to put this in the chicken coop, because that's going to be water that we use to clean the chickens. So I'm just going to place that there. We'll also want the bath towels over here as well, but I'll bring them later on. Let's focus on the mechanics area here. Can I pick up the brazier? No, it is locked there, which is a little bit annoying. I could destroy it with a sledgehammer, but I might just leave it there, to be honest. It's extra base decoration, isn't it? But let's focus on bringing these red tool cabinets over. I'll put this one over here. And then all that vehicle maintenance stuff can go into there. And then I will want the second one as well, because we're going to have quite a few of those red tool cabinet boxes storing our various car parts and tools. And I'll also grab this gas can while we're here too. Can I not install that because the light is there? I don't think so. Can I disassemble that? No. I might be able to sledgehammer it away though. Let me just drop that there. So this is the benefit of sledgehammers, if indeed it even works. We'll check. Let's equip that in both hands. And then we'll destroy. Yes, perfect. There we go. Now it should go there. Put the sledgehammer back. I don't need that on me. Weighs an absolute ton. And then we'll also put our wrenches in there. So I'll talk how we train mechanics. We do have the skill buff red, which is good. So we want a wrench, a lug wrench, a screwdriver, which we already have on us, and a jack. So we don't want to be doing this on cars you want to drive, because with low mechanics skill, you'll start damaging the vehicle itself. So we want to come over to our car, hit right click and use the train mechanics mod. to go over the full car. Now, if you don't have the train mechanics mod, you have to individually click every element and tell it to uninstall, and then reinstall it. It significantly extends the monotony of the mechanics grind. I would highly recommend the auto mechanics mod. So you see, he's just going to move through every part he can, and giving us little doses of mechanics XP. At the higher our mechanics level, the better we're going to be able to repair the cars, which hopefully you've seen in this first week how important having working vehicles is. And of course, you'd also need to have found the magazine recipe books I spoke about earlier on in this series to be able to train everything on each type of vehicle. This is a standard vehicle type. There's sport and heavy duty as well. The box van being an example of a heavy duty vehicle. So that's it. Fast forward time. Your character will move through all the elements. So it looks like we actually... Yeah, that tyre was broken now, which is why it's on the floor. And then the same again with this one. And these were the two vehicles in our car crash, so they were already absolutely destroyed. And that same thing again, just train the mechanics. You can sometimes take quite a long time on one section, so you get repeated XP drops. And there's also level 1 mechanics as well. So taking a really long time on this vehicle actually. Actually taking us well into the evening. And possibly up to level 3. 2 even. Yeah, there you go. So now it's worth stopping because we're not getting those XP buffs anymore. So come and drop all your mechanics tools back off in your mechanics storage. And everyone's nice and happy. Let's also add gasoline to this truck. Sweet. And then the empty gas cans I have, I'm going to put in the truck itself because we're going to top those up at the gas station. Which we'll do in the morning. It's a little late to head out now. But that's the long and short of a mechanics area. You can just find essentially workhorse cars, keep grinding them once a day, and your mechanics will fly up. Now, in a run I'm also doing alongside this one in my own free time, because I can't stop playing Project Zomboid. I tend to grind straight to level 10 mechanics. If you have all the books, you can essentially just put aside a few days to read them all. It'll probably take you about a week, and do nothing but grind cars. Essentially rushing straight to level 10 mechanics. But I won't do that in this guide as that's kind of ultra mega sweaty efficiency. We'll wake up in the morning here and do a quick run to the gas station. Okay everyone, it's another foggy morning, which is not too, or it is quite thick fog actually. It can get worse than this, but this will be alright. Okay, so let's do a quick run to the gas station. I want to take this one. You see that car just fell off because its wheel's off. It's quite funny actually. So yeah, I won't bother training mechanics now until I hit or read volume 2. And also going to stop and tow the fire truck back to the gas station as well. Because we do have the key for this. So we can top this up with fuel at the same time as well. Cool. So let's head to the gas station. We know where it is now if you're playing in a similar area of Rosewood to me. Sweet. So here we are. Let's also detach the vehicle now. Grab the gas cans out of there. We'll refuel the car first. And then right click the gas pump and take fuel. Fill both gas cans. Right click the truck. Add gasoline to it. Refill your gas cans. And then we want to put these back in the boot of the truck. They weigh a ton, so don't carry them around. And now this truck has a tiny bit of fuel. And we can refuel this one as well. This gas tank is on the left side this time, so I'll need it this side of the pump. Refuel from gas pump. Very, very nice. And then we can reattach the car. We've got a friend over there as well, lingering by one of the gas pumps. Let's get rid of him before we go inside. I'm also going to call into the gas station again, so I can take some further storage units back to the base with me. Let's come out the front here, and we'll get rid of this zombie following us around. So, quick scavenger inside. And the gas stations usually do have a kind of a few good shelves, hopefully we can find. See what's going on here. Yeah, we've got one there. Move that stuff to the floor. It's actually a little bit of a diner back here, isn't there? There's another car key in there too. I'll take that. I'm going to grab some of this food as well. And let's top apart water bottle while we're here. And then pick up. Let's grab the shelving units. Hopefully grab both of them. Yep. And drop these off in the car. And there's a few lingering around the peripheral edge of the gas station here. Let's keep our eye on them. I'm pretty sure we need crowbars to pick these cabinets up. Oh no, it's a carpentry check. I might be able to grab one. Yeah, we got it. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'll take that as well. This is why these big box trucks are super handy, because they have such high carry capacity. So let's keep doing this. That second one unfortunately broke, but we do have more shelves in here which aren't prone to skill checks. Wait, that's the last set. And then get ourselves home. So we're home. I'm going to detach the car and then drive this one out because I want the truck directly in here. Let's move this little car out. We'll stick it here for right now. I'll do a bit of car organization here in a second too. So let's back our truck up. It will clip the roof slightly, but it can fit. Also a note about these sprites you see, these propane tanks on the floor, and these are actually full propane tanks. You can pick those up and use them. Sweet, so let's drop all the cabinets or the shelving on the floor, and then we'll grab one of these. Then we can just do install furniture, and we'll put it up on the back wall here. I realised I did move these shelves initially, but I didn't know I'd be coming back here long term, so I could have just left them. And can I pick this up here? It doesn't look like it. I do want to move that garbage can, which I'll install there for right now. Always good to have a bin around for just deleting the huge amount of crap you're likely to come across here. And then we can install the final set of shelves. I'll put those there. Can we not put them there? Can I pick this table up? No, that's one of the tables you can't move. Okay, I'm going to pick up this metal drum. And I'm going to put this maybe over near the farm, actually. The agriculture farm, because this will be another good water storage solution. Got another zombie coming as well. Let's not let her walk over our stuff here. So we'll be thanking ourselves for doing so much clearing in week 1, and that helicopter event last episode would have been significantly more dangerous if we hadn't have done. But I'll take that metal drum for water storage. It'll work. And then we'll pick up number 2. Bring that here, install furniture. Sweet. So that's going to give us pretty much great internal storage over here. We've actually got 2 light switches. Turn both of them on. Yeah, and you can also, I mean, you can have your mechanic shop inside here if you like. I'm just going to rearrange a few of my vehicles. We've already got a really nice kind of fleet of vehicles gathering here now, haven't we? We also want to do the car battery on this one as well. So let's take a car battery charger. We want to come over here and place the battery charger. Then remove the battery that's dead, which is this one. Or about to be dead anyway. Just uninstall it. I'll put it in our inventory. Right click the charger, connect battery, connect the one you just removed. And right click it again. It's actually got no power there. Do I need to put it near a building? We haven't lost power. The lights are still on. And does it need to be in a building? I wonder. I'm actually not sure on that one. Let's just come and drop it in here. See if that does work. Something new I can learn? Yeah, there we go. Just has to be inside. You'll hear that little buzzing coming from it. Just the battery's charging now. You'll need to keep on top of that for all of your vehicles. And whilst that is charging, let's also grab a tyre pump. Just one of them. And then maintain all of our current tyres. So you want to come into vehicles, come down here to tyres, and it will tell you the pressure up here. So you can see some of these tyres need doing more than others. And then just hit inflate tyre. You can't still move around. Do it for each one. You can queue these, so while he's doing one, you can tell him to do the next one. And then once they've finished, we'll go and do that. So you want to keep on top of this. There's nothing more disappointing than coming back from a legendary loot run just to have a tyre blowout and then you can't bring the car back because you didn't keep the tyres up, right? And the quality actually of the condition of these tyres are starting to really deteriorate, which will also cause blowouts. But same thing for all of your fleet of cars. Just keep them inflated. Your future self will thank you. Sweet. So that's all our tyres pumped up on the cars that we're using. Of course, we don't need to do these ones over here. They're just our maintenance cars. And then I'll spend the rest of the evening, I think, just moving the bulk of my supplies and tools that we gathered in the first wooden starter hut. And bring them over to the new storage unit. So I'll run over how I'm keeping my storage. I've got materials in the metal crates, and then I'm keeping tools and... yeah, I think mostly tools. Even though it says tool and weapon, I'm never going to use a pipe wrench as a weapon, so it's just a tool for me. And we've got another empty bucket. I'm just going to place that outside. And then anything ammunition related, I think I'm going to keep my guns behind this metal fence. I will want some better storage cabinets here, but we can get them at a later date. I'll put the magazine in there. And I think that's all I picked up, wasn't it? And then I picked up a bath towel from that loot run as well. So that's the one I'm going to drop down there on the floor for eventual chicken maintenance. Actually, did I leave any storage containers down in this basement? Yeah, there's a few good things down there. Sweet, I can use them as well. And we'll finish off the day with another stir fry, using up all these fresh ingredients we've got here. And then I think that'll pretty much do it for this episode. We've spent like, what, nearly 5 days there organising the base. Definitely worth doing though. Now we have a room over here where we can get storage off camera. I'm going to keep migrating the materials into here since I'm living out of here now. But I hope it helps you visualize, because I'm pretty secure here, so I don't really need to plank the windows. You can if you want, but I should be mostly safe here now, beside that scare we had a few days ago. But get yourself some animal storage set up, so when you do find animals, you know you've got somewhere to bring them. Chop down lots of trees. You've seen how much logs we've used today. Get yourself a vehicle storage and maintenance area set up, your main loot shed, your home itself, agriculture, and then indeed the wider kind of secure perimeter, if you like. But I'll leave this episode there. Thank you so much indeed for all the incredible support you guys have dropped on this series. I hope you're still finding it useful. And it won't be long, I think, before we start the grinds getting into the various different skills of Build 42. Well, thank you all so much for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.